All biological cells, as we will see, have an electrical aspect to them. But in neurons, this has evolved so that it can be exploited to transmit signals. Cells are surrounded by an enclosing protective chemical barrier which keeps their contents from leaking out and is called the cell membrane. The fluid within and surrounding cells has many dissolved substances within it, and these include ions, that is, charged atoms or molecules. The cell has chemical complexes embedded within its membrane which allows these ions to be transported from the outside to the inside of the cell or vice versa. In most neurons, ions are transported so that potassium ions are present in high concentrations inside the cell and sodium and chloride ions have a higher concentration outside. This produces a voltage which is called a resting potential between the inside and the outside of a cell of about 70 millivolts. When a signal travels along a neuron's axon, which you may remember is the wiring of a neural network, the membrane becomes permeable to sodium ions, and this causes them to flood into the interior of the cell so that they try and equalize their concentration. This causes the voltage across the cell membrane to change, and this in turn causes the next section of the membrane to do the same thing. And so a signal is conducted down the axon. This signal is called an action potential. Once the action potential has passed, the cell returns to normal and charges up again to its resting potential by pumping the ions back out. It should be noted that this process is very slow. Typically, action potentials travel at a few hundred meters per second. This is much slower when compared to the conduction of electrons in a wire, where signals travel at a substantial percentage of the speed of light. The voltage profile of an action potential thus generated is shown on the screen.